Do you know if they're going to come on the field or not, or just stay in the stands only? All right, we are here at Marlow High School commemorating the Outlaws' third ever state championship victory. They were able to defeat the Washington Warriors 17-13 Saturday and their first ever 2A championship victory, finishing the season 15-0, the only team in the state this year to win 15 games. Several other undefeated teams, notably Bixby with their 49-game win streak and their four-peat. And then also first-timer in Collinsville finished 14-0. Marlow was able to pull off the feat in 2A at 15-0. And then in Class B, Laverne finished 13-0. And finalizing the undefeated champions in Class C, the Timberlake Tigers. Marlow was able to win their first state title in 57 years, so this is a local hometown event. Big deal. Gives fans, family, and supporters an opportunity to get their photographs of the Outlaws with their trophy, medals, and hopefully an opportunity for us to interview some of the players so that they can share what it was like to win the first state title in Marlow, Oklahoma in 57 years. Interestingly enough, all three state titles for Marlow, two prior in Class B, all won on December 11th. Here comes head coach Newby with the Gold Ball Trophy. Remaining assistant and line coaches, positional coaches making their way with some team captains and notable players. Virtually most of the squad is now out in the stands, a few more still coming from the field house. Notable stats for the Outlaws on this season: back-to-back undefeated regular seasons, first time in school history that they've been able to pull that feat off. As I said prior, the first time that they've ever had an undefeated state champion, the first time they've ever won 15 games in football. They're the only team in Oklahoma to go 15-0. This is their first state title in 57 years. Prior titles were won in Class B in 1959 and 1964. The Outlaws have had three runner-ups in football, all in Class 3A, 1992, 1994, and 2006. On the season, the Outlaws scored 645 points, gave up 156 for an average of 43 points per game, allowing 10.4 points per game. A total point differential of 489 points, or a margin of victory of 32.6 points a game. So in other words, they won virtually every game by 5 touchdowns. Marlow had 8 top 20 wins on the season, 3 top 10 wins, 2 top 5 victories. They outscored those particular opponents 303-76. They were one of 6 teams to defeat the number 1 rated team prior for their title, joining Collinsville, Clinton, Holland Hall, Cashin, and Timberlake. As I said prior, all 3 of Marlow's state championship victories have come on calendar dates of December the 11th. A few more factoids and stats for them. The Outlaws defeated 2 unbeaten teams on the year. They were one of the few teams to actually play games in 3 different classes, 4, 3, and 2A.
If you want a picture, it might be a little bit. We're going to do the team picture, then we're going to go seniors, juniors, sophomores, all one individual picture holding the trophy, and then after that, your family, or you with the kid, or you with the kid and the trophy, whatever y'all want to do, then we're just going to have to be patient, but I'm going to get every individual kid first, that's okay.
All right, Coach Newby is giving everybody the opportunity to take portraits with each individual player. All right, so as we were saying, Marlow was one of the few teams to play 4A and 3A schools this year. They defeated them, of course. Only 15-0 state champion, so they have bragging rights for most wins. They're the only team in the state of Oklahoma to kick field goals in 10 of 15 games. 14 of their 15 victories were double-digit victories. The only single-digit affair was their state championship victory over Washington, 17-13. 2 touchdowns were called back. Outlaws did leave some points on the board in that particular game, but nonetheless, their only single-digit victory of the season. Most notably for the Outlaws, they beat 13 2A teams by a combined total of 411 points, and they scored 35-plus points in 13 out of 15 games. Back-to-back unbeaten regular seasons, Outlaws were able to go 11-0 last year before losing in the state quarterfinals to eventual state champion Metro Christian, and this year they are able to pull off the undefeated 10-0 regular season and obviously go 15-0 to win state. Your 2021 Class 2A champions, the Marlow Outlaws. There are approximately 100-plus people on the field, possibly more, all looking for opportunities to get photographs here with their family members, friends, and these young men that have wowed the community. So it'll be an opportunity to glad hand and thank everybody for their support and also find out exactly what it was like for these young men to be able to win state. I'd like to thank our sponsor for today's coverage, the Holloway Restaurant Group in Edmond. They have Cafe 501, Boulevard Steakhouse, and Sparrow Modern Italian. Coach Newby's second tenure here at the school. He had been here before and then left to go to a couple of schools, notably Pauls Valley. Second time being the charm. All right, and we are getting close to our official team portrait here for your 2021 Class 2A state champions, the Marlow Outlaws. Are you guys ready? They are the epitome of ready. So again, your 2021 Class 2A state champions, the Marlow Outlaws, the only team in Oklahoma to finish the season 15-0. Their third state title in school history and first in 57 years. All right, so the order of photographs will be seniors, juniors, sophomore, and freshmen. They will have an opportunity to get an individual photograph with any person who wants to actually come and stand with them. And then I would assume shortly thereafter we'll have an opportunity to hopefully get some of the players and coaches for interviews to commemorate and celebrate this special season for the Outlaws. The players are actually instructing the parents how to best take the photos, so they are on top of it. I apologize for any wind distortion. It is exceptionally windy out on the field today. We're trying to turn the volume down as low as we can to still get audio. I'm going to momentarily pick up our camera and follow the players. We'll see exactly where they decide to set up. I would assume it'll be probably underneath the scoreboard. So we'll do our best to center everything so that we can get most of the action here for you. And we'll do our best to flip around and give everybody at home an opportunity to see the number of people that have come out to support Marlow. All right, so individual pictures first with the gold ball. All right, we are now cutting off heads here instead of getting them in the camera. All right, so next man up, starting number 2, hands off to number 3 here for the Outlaws. And next, number 5. Next is number 7. All right, and now number 8. And now number 9. And now number 10, the kicker extraordinaire.
Hey, seniors, after each individual, we'll have y'all's group take it. Okay, then you'll have to wait and take it with everybody else.
All right, so Coach Newby's instructing players individually from number 2 on up, and then once each class is finished, senior all the way down to freshman, they'll take one group photograph with the gold ball. All right, number 11 has had his opportunity. Now number 12.
Next, let's go.
All right, and we have now number 20. All right, and next up is number 24. He is followed by number 27. One more picture. A talent-laden, heavy senior class here led the Outlaws to back-to-back unbeaten and undefeated seasons in the regular season. Lose a heartbreaker last year in the state quarterfinals to Metro Christian, and then able to get over that hump and win their first state title in 57 years. Number 28. All right, I believe number 32 will be next if my numbers serve me correctly. I believe number 40 will be next. And then I believe we are down to 3 players in the 50s. So number 52 should be up next by my count. Oh, 44 rather, I'm sorry, misspoke. All right, number 52. Three more players, looks like 4 more players rather, in the senior class. All right, number 53. Number 55 will be next. All right, 2 more players, and then we are wrapped up with this particular class of upperclassmen. Number 57. And finally, number 59. All right, so now we should have a group photograph here of all of the seniors together, all at one particular time. Yep. All right, so all seniors are coming to pose here in front of us, and then next up we will have approximately 12 or so juniors. I believe I counted 12 juniors, if my math is correct. "28 varsity seniors this year able to pull off a feat that no other team in Marlow history has ever been able to do. Not only have back-to-back unbeaten regular seasons, but to win a state title and be undefeated." As I said prior, the only team in the state of Oklahoma to win 15 games and finish 15-0. This is one of the rare instances of the Outlaws going backwards. They're usually used to going forwards. All right, and next we will have the juniors, the core nucleus of the team next year. So I believe there are 11 of those players that will be doing individual photographs and then another team pose. First player on the field should be number 15, I believe.
Guys, scoot in. Close your cans. Hey, hang on. Hey, Case, move to your right. Everybody move toward Case now. On that row, not the back row. Move over, Julian. Move over. Jones, there you go. Hey, move over. Move over. Move over. All right, good. Right there. All right. Scoot the trophy out a little bit. Scoot the trophy out a little bit. It's in the shade. All right, hey, first one's serious. You got it? Can you see or raise the light? All right, hey, 1, 2, 3. All right, now smiling. Everybody smile.
And that is your 2021 state champion class 2A senior varsity members for Marlow Outlaws. Juniors now will be up.
Hey, you guys watch the guy in front of you. Do what the guy in front of you.
All right, number 1 is first. The next 11 or so players are all juniors. Number 15 following. And number 16. Juniors are on top of it, man. They're all in a row and ordered and ready to go. Number 17. Number 18. Number 22 up next. Number 29. Number 35. Number 60. We have two more juniors before we'll be doing a team portrait as well with all the juniors. Number 65 up next. And he will be followed by the last and final junior, number 70. Right. I believe we had one player out of place earlier. Number 61 will be coming onto the field, and then we will have all the juniors done. All right, all juniors now on the field to pose with the gold ball trophy.
Avery.
All right, so a total of 12. My number was off one. Number 61 wasn't in the group when we did the original count out. So 12 juniors. All right, your 2021 Marlow Outlaw Class 2A State Champion Junior Varsity members. Okie dokie. Sophomores are up next. And again, number 6 will be first on the field, have individual photographs with the trophy, and then a team portrait of all the sophomores. We've got a cluttered mass here of players, so I'll do my best to try to get the numbers that are about to come out on the field in order, especially for those that can't be here today and might be home wanting to follow your kid. You know all the names. I don't have a roster sheet in front of me. All right, so number 6 was first on the field. Number 4 should have been. He is up next. And I believe number 19 will be next out on the field. 4 and 6 have already gone. 13. All right, number 13 is out. All right, coach is helping me with this little endeavor here, so we're going to have 13, 14, and then I believe 19 will be following. Here we go.
Hi, where do we go for kids to get their pictures taken with?
That's the one right there.
For the kids?
Yes, it's going to be a little bit.
It's going to be a lot.
Yes.
Like how long?
Well, we've got to get all these kids. We've got to get a sophomore picture, got to get a coach's picture, and then after
And now number 19.
say another.
Stay right here then?
You do whatever y'all want to do. If you leave and come back, we'll be here for a while. So.
I just want to talk about felt being with them.
Number 19 followed by number 21.
He's all business. All business.
Number 23. Number 25 up next. So we're making some good progress here. We've been on now for about 35 minutes, give or take. And 26 is up next. Number 30. Number 31. Number 33. Now number 34. Number 38. Number 39 now. Number 42. Number 45 up next. Number 50. Number 54. Number 56. We may have a partial homicide committed here. We'll see here momentarily. Number 58. All right, I'm not sure if number 62 is coming next, or if there's one more player. All right, so 62 is next, and then we should have 68 and 75. Looking to see if there's any other players. They're kind of commingling over here, so I'm doing my best to get all the numbers in order as they're lining up. 66 is next. Number 68. Number 75 is next. '77. Number 79. All right. So all of the individual group photos have been taken for the sophomore class. This is a large portion of the team right here. I lost track on my count, but there are a lot. There's every bit of 28 right there, I believe. I believe we got 29 or 30. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2021 Class 2A state champion sophomore squad for the varsity program, state champion Marlow Outlaws. All right, let's do it again. Your 2021 Class 2A state champion sophomore varsity squad members for the Marlow Outlaws. Thankfully, it looks like we've got a small group of freshmen.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
Over here.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have a team photograph with the team managers. Invaluable resources for every game. Without them, a lot of the action comes to a complete stop. Constantly getting water, Gatorade, other fluids and players throughout the game, attending to injured players and doing exercises and helping the coaches with staff drills and conditioning and setting up sideline equipment. Your 2021 Marlow Outlaw Management team members, the Class 2A state champions.
Hey, Coach Rebel, we're gonna get the Morgans because Coach has to go. Yeah. Well, does he know how to go? I got it right here. But I'm not saying it. Say it. So you gotta go. No.
Coach Morgan and family, one son, baseball extraordinary, talented player going to OU. His son also a letterman on the 2021 state championship squad, key player.
It's like this.
All right, now I'm trying to figure out or deduce what next is coming up. Coach, do we have any freshmen you're going to pose, or? Okay. Okay. Individual team photographs of the members that help on the sidelines. And then we do have a small group of freshmen here. It looks like there's about 6 of them. All right, we have got them lined up and in order. So number 13 will be our first freshman out on the field here momentarily.
Hey, Coach Kraft, will you get all the coaches rounded up? They want to do it.
Can you guys just watch it?
Who's the next freshman?
All right, number 13 from the freshman squad coming out. We just kind of keep moving the group back and back and back. Next up will be number 23. And now number 50. 3 more players. Number 52 up next. And now number 55. And now number 64. All right, that concludes the 6 freshmen on the squad. We will now have the coaches appear. They'll all be posing with the gold ball trophy. I believe we're down to 2 coaches being signals back behind me. We'll let them get set. And ladies and gentlemen, your 2021 Class 2A State Championship head coach and staff coach positions for the Marlow Outlaws. All right, Coach Weber. All right, and next, I think we've got an assistant coach here wanting to get his kid up as well. Okie dokie. So from here on out, it looks like we'll have some individual photographs by request again. That way they can get in with siblings, friends, family members, and whatnot. I'd like to thank our sponsor for today's coverage, the Holloway Restaurant Group in Edmond. They have 3 amazing eateries in Edmond: Cafe 501, the Boulevard Steakhouse, Oklahoma's first prime rib steakhouse, and then Sparrow Modern Italian. Check them out. Show your loyalty and patronage for them being willing and so generous to sponsor things like this so that people at home can watch and be a part of it. It's a very big deal for a community that last won a state title in 1964. We'd like to also congratulate the Collinsville Cardinals on their first ever state title. And you can't go without mentioning Holland Hall in Class 3A. Bumped them up from Class 2A to 3A, 2 years running, back-to-back state champions. I think we've lost about half the crowd behind me, but there's still probably close to about 60-plus people on the field.
How do we get just a picture of like my kids with the trophy?
Just go right up there and talk to Coach Newby and just have him put you right in a row, because I know you needed to go. So I would just walk right up to him now and see if you can get right in a row. Well, they hooked him up. He has got a couple of autographs there on a Marlow Outlaw customized helmet, so that's pretty sweet. All right, 4 players now. It looks like now number 79 and a large, big family to pose with him. They pulled back momentarily. Coach is going to get a photograph with him as well. Right now, number 79 with his family. And we're down to still about 30 or so people still out, 35 give or take. With the way that the photographs have been, we may not be able to get many interviews, but we'll do our best at least to get Coach Newby and maybe a couple of the key players this season. If I can get Coach's cooperation, we'll try to just line them up in a group and do it that way. That way we can get it done. We've been here now for over an hour, but nonetheless, this is a special day for a community that last had a state title in Class B in 1964. I believe prior to that, 1957 was the only other state title for Marlow. Proud mama here with both of her boys. It's not every day you can say you're the mom of 2 state champs. All right, looks like we've got at least another 7 or 8 people in line, possibly more, that are still wanting to get photographs. No matter which angle we set up, I apologize. People just kind of keep walking right in front of us. We're doing our best to get you as clean a shot as possible. And it looks like there may be about a dozen or so people in line now. Wow, that's a cool picture. This woman has been waiting in line for over an hour so her grandkids can get their picture taken with the state title. So that's awesome. Good grandma. Okie dokie, now we got a pretty large group of players coming in. These are the guys that in large part made it all happen. Virtually most of your starters right there, if not all of them. All in one perfect opportunity to summarize what excellence and hard work and persistence will do if you just don't quit. And even though they came up short last year, losing to Metro Christian in the quarterfinal game, came back with a vengeance this year. We were the only periodical in the state, Prep Nation, to have them ranked number 1. We had them ranked number 1 all 16 weeks. And I believed in them last season, and I still believe in them now. A wonderful testament. First state championship in 57 years in Marlow. Your starters for the 2A state champ, Marlow Outlaws. Any players want to do interviews, head over this way. All right. If any of you guys want to do interviews, I'll just need you to stand back just about where number 3 was. That way I can get you in the camera. First off, just let me know name and position, and we'll go from there. Number 28, you want to get in? You guys can all do it at once if you want. Go ahead. All of you jump in. Number 3.
My name is Josiah Johnson. I'm tight end. I'm number 3.
Okay.
Jones, number 9, quarterback.
Okay.
Trey Sutherland, number 8, quarterback.
Okay, what's your position? Okay. And we got one more guy over here. All right. So, guys, obviously, come on in, number 27, if you want to squeeze in as well. What's your position and name? Guys, I know most of you have family members that were born in the 1960s. Do you realize what you were able to accomplish winning a state title for the first time in 57 years? What does that mean to you individually and as a group? Last season was probably as heartbreaking of a loss as you could have, wasn't it? And in my opinion, you guys played Metro Christian tighter than anybody did all year. You were one play away, one defensive stop away, 1 second off the clock away from trying to get another play off. How were you able to take that disappointment from last year and use it as a motivation not to slip up this year, not to quit, not to lose sight of the goal ball, and to keep that week-by-week grind that you did so successfully?
We went up to Tulsa on the same day that and played Castle Hall, the same day that we played Metro the year before. There was just another sense of, I guess, urgency you could say, that was pushing us through that game. And that's just a feeling that we kept going from Castle Hall into Uvalde and then into the state championship.
I'll ask 59 this question. Being in the interior, line, you have to protect the guys that get most of the credit, the ones that most people are looking at for touchdowns and interceptions or kicks or whatnot. How important is it to have a player on the field that knows their job, does it, and then makes it to where Marlow is able to score and get off the field and get the ball back?
Well, you have to first you have to protect the quarterback, protect the running back. You just have to make sure you know what you're doing, make sure you know what the person next to you is doing, and just blocking your butt off. That's what you gotta do.
All right, number 8, you guys are the only team in the state of Oklahoma to be 15-0. What does that mean?
I thought that was pretty special. I thought it was really cool that we were the last team in Oklahoma to also play.
Number 28, when you look at this season, obviously it's a large senior group, a lot of people that'll go their separate ways after today, after this, season, I should say. What did it mean like walking off that field for the last time knowing that you were the best team in the state of Oklahoma in your class? Number 9, when you play with these guys, what is the one thing that most people wouldn't know that you do every week to prepare?
Practice just as hard as we're playing. Coach Weber stresses that. Just practice every play like it's
All right, number 55, you didn't see much action this year, but at the same time, what does it give you to look at what this team accomplished and to want to continue that excellence and tradition and go win it again next year?
Well, man, I hope they all get in the weight room. I hope they just aspire to really just go get it. Just don't think that this is the last time we're going to win one. I hope they try to go win one themselves.
All right, anything you guys would like to say to family or friends? Did I mess that up? Okay, so I've been grilled out. I'm sorry. I thought I got one player off, so I apologize. So you protected the quarterback, so I'll give you an extra question since I flubbed up. When you protect the quarterback, the running back, you see what the other team is doing, the alignments. How gratifying is it for you to know that you've got that guy's back and anybody coming through?
It's a pretty selfless job. I don't really get credit. It's just how we're built. We like it like that.
Well, they used to call them the big uglies when I played, but you got to have them on the line. Congratulations, guys. I'd like to get you guys for an interview. You ready? Can I get you real quick? All right. Everybody just give me your name and position you played. If you could just scoot back just a little bit. All right, first.
All right, Jace Gilbert, I'm the quarterback. I play safety, and then I'm a kicker punter as well.
Do you do anything, other than just those three jobs?
That's about it.
When you look back on this season, you were one of the kickers that virtually every person that broadcast your games, whoever it was, commented on how good you could kick, how far you could kick, could you kick it farther, would you miss even? And sometimes it's like they almost were setting you up to jinx you. And I know you had a couple little dings later, but you hit field goals this year, I believe, 10 out of 15 games. That's almost unheard of in 3A football. What kind of challenge or, I guess, interest did you have in kicking, and how did you get into it?
I got into it. I was really young. My mom actually played college soccer at East Central, so she taught me how to kick it like a soccer ball from a really young age, and then it kind of just took off from there. I knew how important having specialists can be. The fact that other teams' defenses have to go 80 on us every time, and being able to score points when our offense stalls out. So.
Across the season, you guys averaged 43 points a game, which was a lot, and you won most of your games by about 33 points. So virtually every game, you were winning by 4 or 5 touchdowns. What was it like to be in that one game to where you didn't have a double-digit lead, you were constantly in the game or kind of tying or coming from behind? Well, there wasn't much wiggle room, was there?
No, which we knew. Obviously, we knew we would respond well. In our second round game against Chandler, they went in and scored right away. So we were down there, and then we ended up winning by quite a bit. But that was good for us to just have to respond. And then obviously against Eufaula, they were really physical, but we came out with that one as well. So we knew we would respond in that moment, and down the stretch, I just knew our defense would come up big.
You guys come on in too. I'm going to have the other guys come in. That way we can get everybody on the field and kind of move them. I don't want it to be that we're just interviewing one guy only here. Come on, guys. Everybody come on in. We'll just get you at the same time. When you guys had 2 of the touchdowns called back, what were the explanations given on the field, or did your coach just say it's called back? Did they ever give you a concrete explanation for what the penalties were that negated them?
They told us that there was forward movement on the motion on
I remember on one they called the chop block, and there's no telling.
So having said that, you had an opportunity to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt you were number one. Last year you played number one tighter than everybody else did. And in my opinion, and some others, the real state championship game last year was Metro Christian against Marlow. Metro Christian just literally blew Cassia Hall off the field when it came to the goal ball day. Did you guys take that satisfaction from being really disappointed and use it as extra motivation this year? How hard is it to win 15 games in a row, 15 straight weeks, and not bring your C game or your B game, but bring your A game every week?
It's hard. You gotta get better every week. When you're not playing super good competition, you gotta find a way.
Does Coach stress to you guys seeing the big picture, but not overcomplicating and missing the Friday before the big picture? Yeah.
He tells us that if we get better, we'll win. It keeps it simple for us, but then awesome.
I know there were a couple of state runner-up teams in 3A, most recently I think in 2006 or so. You guys are the first state champion in Marlow in 57 years. There are people older than me that don't remember the last time Marlow won a state championship in football. How proud does that make you to know that you're going to be remembered the rest of your life as a state champion? Well, thank you very much for your time. You guys have done an amazing job this year. Congratulations. All right, we'll try to get a final interview here with the head coach and the newbie dynasty that continues in Southwest Oklahoma. Those of you that are sports nuts and fans, you already know about his brother at Davis. And now there are 2 state champions in the newbie clan. And I'll be very curious to see Coach Newby's perspective and thoughts on coming back to Marlow and during his second tenure winning a gold ball. He's still trying to facilitate some photographs and help some of the other people get people lined up so they can get their photos. Otherwise, we'd grab him. I don't want to keep him from doing what he's doing with some of the other players. As you can see, he's about as blue collar as it gets. A lot of coaches would be about them, and instead he's serving and helping other family members get photos, taking photos of them, posing with them, and then holding their camera and taking a photograph so they can be in the photograph. That's a real leader and a true leader, and Marlow is very fortunate to have this coach. Well, the people that had left earlier, some newbies, have come back out on the field, so we have actually more people still doing photographs. We were down to about the last 3 or 4 families, and then they just kind of keep coming. Coach Newby? We are getting now down to kind of the final few, kind of give you an idea of still how many people are out on the field. I expect big things from this young man. Be very interested to see where he continues his college football career, because he will be on the field somewhere. Never seen a guy able to do as much as this one young man can do. All right, Coach is, I think, getting close to the rest of his duties here, and hopefully we can get him for a quick interview. He's signing an autograph for a kid on a football. All right, well, at least the wind finally died down. I think we are finally near the finish line. Last player on the field. Quarterback, running back, kicker extraordinaire, Mr. Gilbert. Doing good. How are you, sir?
Good. You doing all right?
Doing good. We hadn't got blown away, so that's good. People often overlook the fact that sports not only help teach discipline and teamwork, but it also inspires and helps other people. And this young man will one day want to do the very same thing that he sees these young men doing right now. An invaluable experience and life lesson for him. I would concur. I think number 10 has been in about 400 pictures today. He has definitely been our number one requested photograph. All right, 2 sons and dad, and a gold ball. I misspoke earlier on our coverage. I said newbie. The Weber brothers have won historic state titles at Davis and then now here at Marlow, Jody and Matt. Coach Weber, you have a minute or so for a quick interview? Okay. Just right there. All right. If anybody had told you an opportunity would arise to take a coaching position and then come back to Marlow, and if you come back, you'll win a state championship, what would you have told them?
Well, that's been an absolute yes, and I feel very fortunate that they gave me a second opportunity. You know, it's not a lot of times you get a chance to go back, and it was really good for me because I knew what I was getting with the community and with our administration, and just knowing Marlow, there's a chance to build a program here.
Marlow finished runner-up in Class 3A in 2006. Everybody was excited, kind of disappointed But then last year happened, and you guys were so close. The odds of a team converting a 4th and 19 pass are very unlikely. But you lose to Metro Christian, an absolute heartbreaker. You literally just run out of time to beat them. So take that moment from last season and tell me what you told the boys leaving the field and then what you've told them this year.
Well, I don't think really had to tell them anything. I mean, they understood how bad that hurt, and it just goes to show you, to win one of these things, unless you're just way better than everybody, you got to have some breaks. I mean, we didn't get the breaks that time, and I'm sure along the way we got several breaks this year, knowing that we stayed healthy for the most part. You lose one particular player, and it makes you a completely different football team. But it was a realistic goal for our kids this year to make a run at a state championship. Sometimes I think kids can say that, and it's not a realistic. You have to have really good players first of all, and you got to have some breaks. But there was no doubt from the time we got beat out last year that our kids set this goal, and the main thing is they worked for it, and things went our way, and here we are 15-0.
This season was, absolutely astounding because you couldn't have scripted it a better way. You won virtually every game except one by double digits. You had the lead, you kept the lead. A couple of times you got behind. How did the kids respond to that, namely the Chandler game, maybe Eufaula, and then Washington? Was it an opportunity for them to say, okay, we got to take this thing back, or did it kind of surprise them?
Well, I think everybody, especially Chandler, we were down for exactly 33 seconds the whole year until we played Chandler, and they went right down the field and scored on us. I think everybody in the stands was in a little bit of shock, but obviously our kids weren't. We answered in just a little over a minute, and then ended up getting ahead and playing ahead the rest of the game. But we needed those type of games. It happened in the semifinals too. Our kids, until we got to the second round of playoffs, and not even then, had never played a full quarter football game, and it's just different. So it was nice that it happened, and we knew, as you keep going, the gap closes between teams, and we knew we were going to be in a dogfight, and we were in the semifinals and the finals, so it served us well.
I know I covered a couple of the games, and I know the only two games that you gave up 3 scores were Mariana Tishomingo, where you put reserves in. And in one game, I think they started actually all of the third and fourth quarter. Some of those things look like, well, Marlow gave up, points to a bad team. How important was it to take that talent and give them the opportunity to get in the trenches and battle test them and get them ready for next year?
Well, that's always good, especially with some of our scores being the way they were. A lot of our kids got to play on Friday night, and that makes for a happy football team. And like you said, it gives a lot of those kids some actually Friday night experience, which is different from Monday night experience. Lost my train of thought here. But anyway, I think that was really important for our future.
When you look now, seeing the community wait at midnight to welcome you back home, about 130, 140 people on the field today. I bet you there were thousands of photographs taken. How gratifying is it to see the gift that these players have given to this community, and then now how they're going to be remembered the rest of their life?
Right. Well, first and foremost, I'm most happy for our kids. They're the ones that put in the work, and like you said, since we got beat out last week, but our community is always so supportive, and it's a neat thing about small town USA. That doesn't happen everywhere. When you're in a small town, there's a big sense of community. The people at the OSSIA said we had the biggest crowd of any class at the state championship, and they were all held at the same place. So pretty much, it would have been a good time to rob the town of Marlow because there wasn't anybody here. That was just such a neat experience, especially when we came back, them lining the streets, like you said, after midnight, shooting fireworks. It's just a testament to what type of community we had, and I'm so proud our kids got to experience it.
A lot of people aren't aware of it, but there were days when you announced your home playoff games. There were people here at 1:30, 2:30, 3:30 reserving seats. They were packing out opposing stadiums on the other side for the bleachers. This community really tied on with you in a special way, and for you to be the last man standing, the last state champion, the only 15-0 state champion, well, that has got to make you especially proud of what these young men did.
Yes, and it's just so hard to win. We're proud of every win. Winning's hard to do now, and like you were saying earlier about our defense, it's such an offensive game now. Look at college scores, look at Big 12 scores, and high school scores are getting that way. You see people playing, 60 to 62 ball games in a 4-quarter ball game, and our first team defense gave up exactly 22 points through 10 football games, so an average of 2.2, a game, and we only gave up 54 all year long through 15 games. So that's just outstanding, and I thought our defense, we've been pretty offensive for the most part all year long, and then in the finals our defense
By my math, you guys had 8 top 20 wins, 3 top 10, 2 top 5 wins. You beat those teams 303 to 76. That is a stat that just jumps off the page. A lot of schools, take Bixby for example, or even Timberlake this year, they scored a lot of points, but in games they gave up a lot of points. You guys gave up 18, 13, 16, and then after that, it was an astounding performance for your two-way starters especially. How were they able to do that? Take, for example, Gilbert. He kicks, he throws, he runs. How have they been able to maintain just that edge on both sides and not have a lapse?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's our weight room. I mean, we lift 4 days a week during the season, which is unheard of. And we lift on game days, which I don't think hardly anybody does. And that sure helps prevent injuries. You can't prevent all injuries, but I think that helped keep us healthy through an 18-week season. And our kids were together for exactly 6 months straight, starting going back to the summer. So that's a long time to be around each other without having any problems. And our kids got along well, and we're still excited to go on the practice field in week 18. And obviously, when you practice that long, you probably get in pretty good shape along the way. And on some of those, you were talking about some of those numbers. We're not stat chasers either. A lot of times our kids would play a quarter and a half, and we'd get them out just because we think it's the right thing to do. And like you said, get some of those other kids in. But had we, some people believe in keeping them in 3 quarters no matter what. I mean, Jace Gilbert's, the Will Bergners, and the Julian Americans would have had stats out of this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Gilbert had field goals in 10 to 15 games, which is unheard of for high school sports. I mean, short of a 6A program that has 110 kids on the field, you just don't see that. His skill, his ability, his leadership. When you start the season playing 4 and 3A schools, has it been by design to purposely put your kids in tough, or just to keep traditions and maybe rivalries that you've always played?
Well, Chickasha definitely is a rivalry goes way back. There was a small gap there where we didn't play, but obviously they're a great test and a great 4A team, and we plan on keeping them on the schedule as long as we both can do it. And then Anadarko, I mean, we went searching for games. We probably would like to play somebody else because we're so physical, but we had trouble finding games. That was a good game for us. And then who we have? We got Atoka, which is long distance. That went back to not being able to find games. But I think it worked out like you said that we got tested early, and those teams will usually show you where you're at early in the season.
Much like fall ball, I'll take Silo for example. They'll schedule 6A, 5A, 4A, 3A. I mean, all over the map. In the year, they get into 2A or A, and they just dominate. You guys outscored 13 2A teams by 411 points, and you just mentioned you set starters. Was Marlow able to win state this year because they refused to lose, or because they just were better at winning than the other teams?
Well, I think the refusal to lose was really big, and I say it every time somebody asks me, and I believe it's not trying to be fake humble, but I really believe to get to this point where we are this year, coaching is so overrated. I mean, we have great coaches, and they are a part of it. But to win it, how we all want to win, everybody's goal is a state championship. You have to have really good players. You have to have special players, and typically at any class, if you win a state championship, you have 1 or 2 or maybe more that have the ability to go play college football. And sometimes we just don't have that, but we have a handful this year that are able to. And 22 seniors in the class 2A school is also unheard of, and a really tight knit group. I mean, this group was never defeated in junior high, so we knew they were going to be a good group coming up.
Yeah, I've covered a lot of them in baseball too. Same multi-sport stars. Basketball, they're good. Baseball, they're good. They probably practice good in tennis or whatever else they choose to do. One final question. Most of the periodicals had Washington #1. We had you guys #1 all year. And I was convinced after watching the Metro Christian game last year that you were clearly the #2 team, or 1A and 1B. When you went through this season and you did what you did, accomplished what you did, won all the games that you won, at the end of the day, these young men are going to leave this field knowing that for the first time in 57 years, they're state champs. Is that something that transcends the coaching, or is it something that means something to you personally that just the title and gold ball doesn't mean?
Well, I mean, it's on a to be selfish, really, it's pretty neat because my dad, has won 1. My dad's won 2 actually. My brother's won 2, and just like I said, being selfish, it's pretty neat for our family to all state coaches get one. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some of it as an assistant coach. But anyway, I think the neatest thing is what you just said is that number's going to be on the side of the field house. Gold ball's going to be in the trophy case forever. And when those guys are my age,
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. I wanted to point out to anybody that's been watching our coverage, you have shook hands, helped, taken pictures, kneeled down, grabbed trophies, held kids. You've been the most accommodating coach I've ever seen, and I want you to know that we appreciate what you've done, the leadership, the ability. It all transcends sports because you touch a life, you change a life. And I wanted you to know that I personally appreciate what you've done for these boys in this